all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 19th of November. Here's everything that you need to know. First up, there's good news on the COVID front. Pfizer has said that a final analysis of its clinical trial data showed that its COVID-19 vaccine was 95% effective, paving the way for the company to apply this week for the first US regulatory authorization for a COVID-19 shot. According to Pfizer's German partner BioNTech Chief Executive Officer Ugur Sahin, the two companies are now planning to file with the US Food and Drug Administration by Friday at the latest. Sahin said this in a Bloomberg television interview. Documents have already been filed with the European Medicines Agency, which is conducting a rolling review. India, meanwhile, has shown some signs of gaining control over the spread of the COVID-19 infection as new cases in a day fell to their lowest in 4 months. The total tally, however, is still likely to hit the 90 lakh mark within days. In the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday, India added over 38,000 fresh cases, taking the total tally to 89.1 lakh. For one industry in particular, the vaccine could not come any faster. The aviation industry continues to see significantly diminished traffic. Domestic air passenger volume in India fell 57.2% to 52.7 lakh in October over the year-ago period as airlines continued to operate at a much lower capacity. The total number of passengers carried by domestic airlines in October last year stood at 1.23 crore, according to DGCA or Directorate General of Civil Aviation data. Sticking with news on the aviation space, the DGCA will study the US airline regulator's decision and take some time before a final call on allowing Boeing 737 MAX planes to fly again in Indian skies. The Federal Aviation Administration of the US yesterday paved the way for the MAX aircraft to return to commercial service after a comprehensive and methodical safety review process that stretched for 20 months. In other news, the government has garnered 72,480 crore rupees so far through the direct tax dispute resolution scheme called Vivad Se Vishwas, according to sources. A total of 45,855 declarations have been filed under the scheme involving disputed tax demand of 31,734 crore as of November the 17th. Central public sector companies are also settling their disputes totaling 1 lakh crore under the scheme. In international news, Apple is cutting by half the fees charged to most developers who sell software and services on the App Store, marking the biggest change in the store's revenue structure since the iPhone maker launched the service in 2008. That wasn't enough for some developers. The company is lowering the App Store fee to 15% from 30% for developers who produce as much as $1 million in annual revenue from their applications and those who are new to the store. The change will go into effect on the 1st of January as part of an App Store small business program, according to an Apple statement yesterday. The new structure will apply to the vast majority of developers who charge for applications and in-app purchases on Apple's devices, according to the company, but it won't affect major applications such as those from Netflix and Spotify. In international markets, US stocks ended lower despite progress made on the vaccine, as that hope is overshadowed somewhat by the rapid spread of the virus. The Dow and the S&P 500 ended lower by over 1%, while the Nasdaq dropped 0.8%. In the Asia-Pacific region, all three early risers were trading lower, but marginally so last I checked. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Hormuz. How are we looking today?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to our listeners as well. Will the Nifty hit 13,000 today? Now, that is the question on everybody's mind, as the index is just over 60 points away from hitting that mark. Today is also the weekly options expiry session. Now, I'll give you two reasons why the 13,000 may be difficult today. I'm not saying impossible, but difficult. The 12,000 call option for today's expiry still has 35 lakh shares in open interest. And the SGX Nifty in its early ticks is trading over 100 points lower, meaning we may open gap down in today's session. The benchmark indices made another record high on Wednesday, but amidst this record-breaking rally, what has quietly gone about its business is the mid-cap index. The 100-stock gauge ended at a 2-year high on Wednesday and gained for the 14th straight session. This is the longest gaining streak on record for the broader market index. In comparison, the small-cap index gained for the 6th day in a row and ended at a 9-month high. Now, banks have done their bit is a known fact. Both Nifty Bank and the PSU Bank Index have seen double-digit gains in percentage terms over the last 11 trading sessions. But what has also done well are auto stocks, especially the car makers. Both M&M and Tata Motors were on a tear on Wednesday. Mahindra & Mahindra ended at its highest in nearly 2 years, while Tata Motors ended at a 9-month high. Now, while M&M and Tata Motors have both gained for 3 days in a row, what has declined for the same period is Hero MotoCorp. However, that tide may turn today considering the commentary put out by the two-wheeler maker on Wednesday evening. Hero said that it has sold over 14 lakh units of motorcycles and scooters in retail sales during the recently concluded festive period. This robust sale has helped the company reduce stocks at its dealerships to less than 4 weeks, which is the lowest ever post-festive inventory. The company also said that its market share has grown by over 500 basis points in the month of October. Other stocks that will be in focus today include Wipro, which has set 11th of December as the record date for its share buyback, GPT Infra, which received orders of over 168 crore rupees from the government of West Bengal for the repair of the Hooghly Bridge, Vedanta, where operations at the Gamsberg mine in South Africa were suspended after a geotechnical failure trapped 10 workers at the bottom of the pit. 8 of those workers were rescued, while efforts to rescue the other 2 are ongoing. And Prabhat Dairy, which has created an escrow account worth 500 crore rupees with Yes Bank as per directives of the Appellate Tribunal. Some buzzing stocks from Wednesday's session. Adani Gas ended another 18% higher to close at another record high. The stock has gained close to 50% in the last 5 trading sessions, and as a result of this move, the price band for the stock has now been revised to 10% from 20%. Hatsun Agro was the other stock that ended at a record high on Wednesday with gains of 11%. The stock gained for the 6th day in a row and has gained in 12 out of the last 13 trading sessions. And IIFL Finance, which ended at the highest level since March this year with gains of over 10%, the stock ended higher for the 3rd straight day. It's touted to be an action-packed day, and we at Bloomberg Quint will keep you up to speed with all the live updates, so stay tuned. With that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormuz, and as always, thank you all for listening in. That's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's a lot more on the website, bloombergquint.com, so don't forget to check it out. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great Thursday.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.